Hello everyone and welcome to SpaceWeek Live for Sunday, November the 8th, 2020. So this should be a pretty quick episode today. And even though we've got a couple of big things going on this week, but let's take a look back at the previous week. So back on Wednesday, a ULA Atlas V with the NROL National Reconnaissance Office mission was supposed to launch, but they scrubbed. Let me take a quick look at the explanation for that. Hold on. I am scrambling because I was dealing with some stuff and I didn't have a chance to get all my ducks quite in a row, but we'll muddle through here and see what we can do. So let's see. Scrubbed, delayed. Sheesh. Scrub, do not. Well, okay, Atlas V. Here we go. All right. Yeah, so Atlas V, 531 configuration. First launch of an Atlas V with the new Northrop Grumman GEM 63 solid rocket motors, but it was scrubbed due to a ground system valve problem. So specifically, if we look at, let's see, they tweeted, what did they tweet? Delayed from November 8th because the rocket had to be, okay, so scrubbed on 4 November due to an unexpected valves and an unexpected system response from remotely commanded ground system liquid oxygen valves. And then they fixed that issue, but then on November, and it was delayed from November 6th because they were fixing that issue. Then on November 8th, which was today, it was delayed from today because they had to roll back the rocket to the vertical integration facilities to secure it against impending weather from Tropical Depression Eta. But the LOX valve issue had been fixed, so no worries there. Is there a swing arm retraction system for the Atlas V? I don't even know, because that's the issue they were having with the other NROL 44 launch, which is I'm not sure if they've put it on the calendar yet, but it's certainly not this week. Maybe later this month. Okay, so Then on Thursday, a Falcon 9 finally successfully launched the GPS-3 SVO4 mission, which is a new generation of GPS satellites, of which this is the fourth one. And that one was plagued. That mission was plagued with some issues as well. It was first delayed from October last year, December, May, July, and August of this year. It was delayed from September 29th, and then on September 30th there was a range conflict with the Delta IV Heavy launch, which was then scrubbed. It scrubbed on October 2nd at T-minus 2 seconds. Then it was delayed again on November 4th after an extended period of them working whatever that issue was, which I don't know if they ever publicly announced that. But last Thursday they managed to light it off, and it went up just fine. So let's take a look at that launch. You know what? I'm going to switch back to my other cam because I think it's playing games with me again. Oh yes, it is definitely playing games with me. Technical issue. Let me just fix this here. All right. Actually, that's looking good. There we go.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff. Go Falcon. Go GPS.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
Seconds into flight, propulsion says the Merlin 1D engines are nominal. We're on trajectory and preparing to throttle down in preparation for maximum dynamic pressure. And we're heading into the throttle bucket as we power down the Merlin engine.
So we had successful launch, successful landing. I think the landing was a little less violent this time than the last stream we had.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Nominal parking orbit.
There's good orbit, and at the same time, we have touchdown of our Falcon 9 on Of Course I Still Love You. And again, that did happen at the same time, so we did have SECO and good orbit of our second stage.
Expected.
So because GPS satellites orbit in medium Earth orbit, which is, I forget the altitude, you can look it up, but it's many hundreds of miles up. The coast phase for this mission was longer than for your low Earth orbit missions. Let's see, did they show separation? Yeah, they did, right at the end.
Of the GPS-3 space vehicle.
Here we go.
For the U.S. Space Force. If you're just now joining us, we had an on-time launch at 6:24 p.m. Eastern Time. We have just stabilized the western U.S. that John mentioned earlier that are necessary to connect to prior to deployment today. We've got a nice live view of that GPS-3 satellite.
Payload deploy confirmed.
And there it goes. GPS-3 SVO4. Good job, SpaceX. Now, then also on Thursday, a Chinese Long March 6 launched the new Sat SN8 satellite, Earth imaging satellite for Argentina, into a sun-synchronous low Earth orbit. And I do not have video. Actually, I do have video handy for that one. Let me see. This is Long March 6. Here we go. Nice clear blue sky there in China. I don't recall which facility this launched from. It looks very arid. And then on Saturday, so 2 days after that, a Chinese CREW-1 rocket, that's CERES-1, as in Ceres, the name of the largest asteroid in the asteroid belt, or dwarf planet, if you want to call it that, from the Chinese company Galactic Energy, launched Tianqi-11 from the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center in the Gobi Desert. Very desolate location in the far northwest of China. Let's check that out. Now, this was the inaugural launch of the Ceres rocket. So this was a good job for Galactic Energy. Very nice. Yeah, so those two videos were courtesy of Sci News, who do a great job of scouring the interverse for videos of launches that don't have live streams. Yeah, pretty cool rocket. Then on Saturday, India launched, or an Indian PSLV rocket launched the EOS-1 radar Earth observation satellite, 4 Kleos scouting mission radio surveillance nanosats for Luxembourg-based Kleos Space, and 4 Lemur-2 CubeSats for Spire Global. Mission was a complete success, as far as we can tell. I mean, they stated that the orbits were all as intended, and it's normal nowadays for there to be a number of rideshare satellites in addition to the primary payload. The primary payload was EOS-1, but there were a bunch of CubeSats that went along with it, so let's check that out. Let's see, they went through, so as usual with the Indian launches, they don't provide very much live footage, just of the first few seconds of the launch, because there are always clouds and haze that obscure the ground observation stations from having a very good view. But they did show the deployment of the satellites. So good job, ISRO, as usual. Let me see. Ah, yes. So that's it for last week. Now, looking ahead to this week, we have one, possibly two big events and one regular launch. Let's see what we got. Okay, so on Wednesday, November 11th at 5:22 p.m. Eastern, 10:22 p.m. GMT, hopefully, a ULA Atlas V will launch the NROL 101 mission that's been scrubbed a couple of times with that oxygen valve issue that they fixed. So again, remember that it was delayed from today because they had to roll the vehicle back to the vertical integration facility due to incoming weather. So there's no technical issues that they know of right now, but so yeah, that's scheduled for Wednesday. And then on Saturday, November 14th, is the biggie, the CREW-1, SpaceX CREW-1 launch of 4 astronauts to the International Space Station. This is going to be the first production Crew Dragon launch ever. We had Bob and Doug that flew up there a few months ago, which was the second test mission. The first test mission was unmanned, and this is the first production mission. It was delayed by a month and a half or so due to a scrub that had happened with a Falcon 9 that caused NASA some concern. They worked through that, and so now we are ready to go. The way the launch will be streamed is with approximately 17 hours of continuous coverage, starting at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday, November 14th. That's 8:30 p.m. GMT. That's when the coverage begins. Then launch is a little more than 4 hours later, so coverage is starting quite early, but the actual launch is at 7:49 p.m. Eastern, midnight 049 GMT. And then coverage will continue all night long, right here on Raw Space, or wherever you choose to watch. And then on Sunday, November 15th, at 4:20 a.m., Eastern, 9:20 GMT, they dock with the ISS. Then, then almost 3 hours later, at 7 a.m. Eastern, 12 GMT, is the welcome ceremony. And then shortly thereafter, about 20 minutes later, is the post-docking news conference. And I imagine the broadcast will end shortly thereafter, so probably by about 7:45 a.m. Eastern. I've got cat hairs on my microphone. So yeah, that is CREW-1. So the crew that will be going up are, first of all, this Crew Dragon spacecraft is called Resilience. You may recall that the Demo 2 Crew Dragon spacecraft that Bob and Doug flew was called, didn't they call it Perseverance? No, they called it, they named it after one of the shuttles. Anyway, I'm old, my memory, but this one is called Resilience, and it will have on it NASA astronauts Mike Hopkins, Victor Glover, and Shannon Walker, as well as Japanese astronaut Soichi Noguchi. They'll stay for approximately 6 months on the station, and then they'll come back down on this Crew Dragon to splash down off the coast of Florida. Whether it's the Gulf side or the Atlantic side remains to be seen. They can sort of play that by ear when the time comes. But yeah, so look forward to that stream this Saturday. Now, the maybe big event that might be happening this week is, and it's not shown on the calendar here, from tomorrow, Monday, November 9th, through Wednesday, November 11th, with a daily time window of 10 a.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern. That's 3 p.m. GMT to 3 a.m. GMT. We are expecting a SpaceX Starship SN8 static fire and 15-kilometer test flight. Now, with these test flights, SpaceX hasn't been providing much, actionable information. They don't provide exact schedules, so we have to rely on notices to airmen and road closure postings, and the activity at the launch pad itself, which, by the way, you can check out at Lab Padre's web channel. They provide 24/7 coverage of the Boca Chica SpaceX facility and launch pad, and they'll be providing coverage of the flight test when it happens as well. Although, depending on the weather, they may or may not be able to. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're equipped to follow a flight up into the sky. I'm not sure if their equipment can currently handle that, but I'm sure they've seen this coming. So maybe he's taken steps to make sure that he has sufficient vertical pan tilt zoom capability to follow it. I'm not sure, but in any case, I am not sure if I will be providing a live stream for the SN8 flight, because number one, we don't know when it's going to happen. It could happen any one of 3 days in a 12-hour time, window, and also unless SpaceX does otherwise, there may not be live coverage from SpaceX. So I would have to piggyback on top of Lab Padre, which I generally try not to do because their coverage is fine, and I prefer to get my footage. Like if I'm going to stream, I prefer not to, it's not stealing, but I prefer not to use a fellow streamer's footage. I prefer to use the launch provider's footage because they truly don't care. Yeah, so we have a couple things to look forward to this week, a couple biggies. Now there was an Arianespace Vega VV-17 mission that was supposed to launch this week, but it has been delayed until next week. And so, in addition, next Sunday at like 8 p.m. Eastern, sometime like that, I'll get the exact time in next week's episode, but just bear in mind, next Sunday evening, Electron will be launching, but they'll be making their first attempt to catch the first stage of the Electron rocket, descending on a parachute with a helicopter, which is big news for reusable rockets. They've been working on that capability for a while, and this will be their first attempt to do it in production. So you can look forward to that next week, and I'll have the details in the next week's SpaceWeek. That is it for this coming week. I would like to very humbly and gratefully welcome our new members for this past week, both Rawthlings, Galaxy P, and Robert Weaver. So thank you to you both. Oh no. Until a couple of minutes ago, Bennu, my cat, was sleeping in a bed off to my left, and he seems to have disappeared. Oh, he's back in the corner. I wonder if we can coax him out. Can you try to coax him out? If I can coax him out, I will put him on for you. All right, so let me see here. Let me pop up my... look at that. We're now taking questions. Oh, he's out? Okay. Got my buddy here. He's patiently waiting for me to wrap it up. He's like doing the point. But he's what do they do at the Oscars? They raise the music and start flashing a light that tells you to shut up and get off. But anywho, let me see. Not a lot of chat here. Well, there is some. Looking for questions. If you do have any questions, please make sure to tag my name, Rawspace, so I'm sure to see it highlighted amongst the chat. If you already asked a question and I'm not seeing it, please go ahead and repeat yourself. Just make sure to tag my name. Even though the chat's not terribly busy, it's still a lot to scan through on the fly. Oh, that was the one question that stood out was, can you show Bennu Kitty? And she asked it again. You know what? I will be right back because I'm going to retrieve my cat for you. That was one sleepy kitty. He was sleeping in the corner and he did not want to be bothered. But here's Bennu. Whoop. Whoop, now he's tapping my keyboard. And he's gonna hurt me. I know. He is a little meow. Okay. There. All right, let's see. Okay, Bob and Doug, not officially ISS crew members. That's correct. They were the test crew. And could you close that door, please? Thanks. Yeah, they were the test crew, and this CREW-1, crew of 4, will be the official expedition crew. So Bob and Doug stayed for like was it 2 months, month and a half? Okay. The cats are getting restless. Okay. All right. All right. And yes. So soft splashdown, not helicopter catchment. You know, Snow Kittens, I actually, you could be right. Maybe, well, hold on. See if Rocket Lab says anything on their Twitter. Our first recovery mission is coming sooner than you might think. All right. Well, I don't want to go digging right now, but whether it's a splashdown and then recovery or helicopter catch, they will, in any case, be recovering the first stage. So, what exactly happens, we'll get the additional details later. But all right. So Mark Desire is asking, I should say moderator extraordinaire Mark Desire is asking, how certain is the November 14th launch date for the Crew Dragon? It is on NASA's calendar. Now it has been delayed, before, but it's on NASA's schedule, and if there are adjustments to the launch date, then I'll adjust my calendar accordingly. And that's how launches always go. I mean, delays and scrubs happen more often than they don't. So, is Delta IV Heavy, I presume, a never go? Let me see if it is. There's a date for it. Delta IV Heavy, NROL 44. Yeah, so we don't have a date for Delta IV Heavy yet. I think they're continuing to work through swing arm retraction system issues, or maybe there are other issues that they are dealing with. But that launch has been plagued. I don't remember if this next attempt will be there, which is not currently scheduled, but I don't remember if this next attempt will be there. I think it's their 13th attempt to launch this particular NROL 44 mission. Which, lucky 13th maybe, or maybe it'll be lucky 14th. We'll have to wait and see. Microsound, I did not come back all bloody from retrieving the cat because he was super groggy. He was passed out in the corner behind a cabinet. I had to move a chair to go retrieve him. But, all right. Oh, I see questions. Top 15 asks, Raw Space, what inspired you to start your own YouTube channel? Well, the channel didn't start as what it is. The channel started as a place basically for me to dump old Apollo 11 archival footage that I had that I thought was neat, and I wanted to put it online. You know, so I just created the channel back in, I think, January of 2017, and uploaded some Apollo videos, and then I kind of forgot about it for a few months. And sometime later, I remembered, oh yeah, I have this and I called it Raw Space because I was putting raw footage on the, you know, on the channel. It was housing raw footage of the Apollo launch and the unedited transmissions from the capsule and so on and so forth. And I've always been interested in raw footage. I prefer that to, you know, sort of narrated, edited, slickified, CGI'd, etc., etc. The less production, the better, generally, which is kind of ironic for a YouTuber because there has to be some production involved. But especially for if I, you know, if I'm going to monetize anything, there has to be some production work involved to add value to the content beyond simply uploading videos. So, but yeah, that's how it started out. And then so a few months later, I checked on the channel, and I discovered that one video in particular, I think it was the ABC or not ABC, but anyway, the live broadcast of the Apollo 11 launch had a couple 100,000 views. And the channel had a few hundred subscribers, which I was like, wow, how did this happen? Because I had no idea. So I was like, well, there's an interest here. And I mean, I've been keenly interested in space. I've had a passion for space my whole life. So I was like, holy cow, you know, there's an opportunity here to share my love of space with other people, you know, because these Apollo videos, at least, struck a chord. So I tried some different things, you know, started streaming Starman back in 2018, and been doing that ever since. Started streaming launches and other events. My friend is fighting with the cat. Yeah, so here we are. So, Jens asks, have you got information about when the Vega C and or Ariane 6 of ESA will have their first flights? Vega C. Let's see, Vega C. Okay, so according to nextrocket.space, which gets their data from launchlibrary.net, the first scheduled Vega C launch is in May of 2021. And the Ariane 6 launch is next year sometime as, let's see, Ariane 6.2, 6.4, looks like 2022 March. So March of 2022 for Ariane 6. It's designated here as Ariane 62. I don't know if that's 6, supposed to be 6-2 or what, But looks like Ariane 6 is a little bit delayed, but you can look forward to that in spring of 2022 in the northern hemisphere, fall in the southern hemisphere. All right. Questions. Cindy49 Flynn asks, why, when you make live stream for launches, don't I show my face? Sometimes I do, if I do a Q&A. I mean, a lot of times, I mean, I get busy. Like, I work full time. I'm a single dad of 2 teenagers. I have, you know, a house that causes me stress. You know, I'm tired a lot. So a lot of times I will simply stream the launch and not do a Q&A. But if there's time and I have availability and energy and information to give, you know, if I don't have anything useful to add, there's not much point doing a Q&A. But when I can, I do a Q&A prior to a launch or an event, and then I do show my face. But I don't want to omit any launches simply because I can't be on there doing a Q&A. So I stream the launches regardless, and when I can do a Q&A, I do. Dale Duncan, moderator extraordinaire number 2, Dale Duncan, says, Raw Space, thoughts on the asteroid Bennu, not the cat Bennu, but thoughts on the asteroid Bennu being hollow. Bennu, what? Bennu is a jumble of boulders. You know, I mean, some asteroids are more solid than others. Bennu is a pile of rocks. You know, billions upon billions and billions of rocks. About the size of the Empire State Building, but like sort of diamond shaped for complex gravitational reasons that I would not be able to explain. But it is not hollow. It can't be hollow. You know, I mean, unless those rocks are clinging to the outside of a giant Rubik's Cube or something. Yeah. I mean, objects that are bound to themselves by gravity, by their own gravity, are not going to be hollow because of the way gravity works. And in fact, there's probably not even any any notable you know, caves or anything on Bennu because, like I said, it's a jumble of rocks. It's not a solid object. Gina Miller, you're quite welcome for showing you Bennu. He seems to have retreated again. Sometimes he sits here on my chest and sleeps, but because I'm not a shelf, I have to hold him with one hand, which makes it really difficult to get much done on the computer. Denise Campbell, all the mods here are awesome. One of the best channels thanks to them. I agree. I mean, as far as the assessment of being one of the best channels, I leave that up to you guys, but I agree that the mods are amazing, and I'm so grateful for their help and their friendship over these last couple of years. The mod team here is very conscientious and great at what they do. Dan Cobb asks, why is YouTube flagging this? Why is YouTube flagging this as flat Earth propaganda? I'm not aware that this broadcast is flagged in any way. Why are they showing the Earth isn't flat, you idiots banner at the top? I mean, if so, then good. The more education, the better. We're definitely not flat earthers here. In fact, we are as far from that as you could possibly get. We are as spherical as they come, bowling ball-like in our assessment of the shape of our world, without the giant holes for God's fingers or whatever. All right. Deborah Rogers says I inspired her to do YouTube. That's cool. Good luck with it. It can be tough to get going. I mean, it can be tough to find traction, and in, you know, even on a channel like this, it's tough to gain additional traction. But good luck with it. Zaro Flamed YT says Hayabusa 2 returns next month. That's the Japanese sample return mission from Ryugu, I believe, was the asteroid. That's exciting. I believe it'll be landing in Australia. Wait a minute. I thought that wasn't returning for another year or so. Oh, well. I don't like to do... I mean, it's not ideal to do live lookups while I'm in the midst of streaming because it's awkward. You know, I'm sitting here looking at web pages and not, you know, providing you with words. Well, you know what? Hayabusa. I'll just go against my own thing. Launch date, landing. You know what? That is exactly right. 6 December 2020 planned. I thought it was further out, probably because I was paying attention to osiris-rex, which just collected the sample from Bennu, not my cat, the asteroid. So thank you, Zaro Flamed. I wasn't aware that was coming up so quick. So about 1 month from now. So Peter S. or one of you others, especially anybody who happens to be on our Discord, which I will now link in the chat, if you could be so kind as to screenshot that. Like you say, it's showing a flat Earth thing at the bottom or whatever. I would like to see that. I'm going to go to this stream myself and pause it so I don't hear myself. Oh wow, what? Ooh. I'm looking at myself holding Bennu. Alright, I'm going to get a screenshot of this myself. YouTube, flat Earth. I literally, you guys, you're like famous because I just took a screenshot of y'all, 52 current watchers on this stream. Alright. That is weird. Maybe there's something up with my tags on the video. I don't know. I'll have to check that out. But I mean, Wikipedia is correct. The flat Earth model is an archaic conception of Earth's shape as a plane or disk. Many ancient cultures and some really stupid modern ones subscribed to a flat Earth cosmology. But weird, because I'm totally anti-flat Earth. In fact, it really ticks me off that people waste everybody's time with that nonsense. But, alright, so I think that'll wrap it up for this week. Yeah, so thank you all for coming. And, sorry this was a little disjointed. I had a hectic morning and couldn't prepare like I normally do, but yeah. So thank you all for coming. Keep it raw. I hope to see you in one of the live streams this week, and if not, I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.